Okay, so number 1 is actually close to the leading edge. So number 2, as the number increase, you are actually going further and further towards the trailing edge. Right? And this tube is what you connect to the manometer. So you connect this tube. So tube number 1 goes to here, for example. Okay, and then tube number 2 goes to here. Tube number 3 goes to here, and so on and so forth. And then you read the manometer. Okay, the technician will do this for you. And when you have the manometer reading, that is when you use the formula P equal to rho GH in order to obtain the pressure. Is that clear so far? Okay, that's good. That's good. And finally, I will show you just a general view of our wind tunnel. Okay, so this is what the wind tunnel looks like. Okay, so this is the wind tunnel. And the air comes from the left. Air comes from your left. All right. Okay. Is there anybody want to say something? Anybody want to say something? Okay. Otherwise, please mute your microphone. I think it's Irene. Irene. Hello, Irene. Do you want to say something? Okay. But I'm not sure. Maybe you are logged in into 2 devices, because I can see your name come up twice here, and one of your device is sending some sort of noise. Okay, let's carry on. But Irene, can you check your device? Okay, I think it's better now. Okay. So this is the wind tunnel, and your aerofoil goes here. Okay, the aerofoil goes here. This is where your aerofoil sits in. When you watch the video from the technician after this, I will send you the link. Then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so your aerofoil will be here, and then the tube from your aerofoil is going to be connected to this manometer. Okay, and this aerofoil, you will be changing the angle of the aerofoil, and that is called the angle of attack. Okay, and the angle of attack can be changed using this plate here. Okay, because if I show you an aerofoil, okay, an aerofoil that looks something like this. If the angle of attack is at 0 degrees, then the flow will go symmetrical, right? From top and bottom. It is the similar flow. So the aerofoil will generate no lift. When there is no lift, it means that the pressure below the aerofoil and the pressure above the aerofoil is the same. Okay, and it's not so interesting, isn't it? So what we will do is that we will give the aerofoil angle of attack. Okay, so angle of attack means that now your aerofoil looks something like this. Okay, now I believe you can tell that this aerofoil is now generating some kind of lift. Okay, because there's a difference between the streamline above and the streamline below the aerofoil. This is when you see the pressure difference between the top surface and the bottom surface. Okay, so in the experiment, what you will be doing is basically you will be changing the angle of attack. So from 0 to 5 to 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Okay, so that is your variable. The angle of attack. Okay, and then you're going to have a pressure. So this is pressure on top surface. And this is point number 1, point number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, remember our 8 holes just now? Okay, remember our 8 holes just now? So these holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and that data will be here. So basically what you do is first you run the experiment with 0 angle of attack. Let's say that the velocity of the air that's going into the wind tunnel is 15 meter per second. Okay, so 15 meter per second is about 45 kilometer an hour, if you want to try to imagine it, right? So first of all, you run the experiment at 15 meter per second at 0 angle of attack. Okay, and then you read the manometer 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the next thing you do, velocity stays the same, 15 meter per second, but you change the angle of attack. Okay, change the angle of attack to 5. And then you get it again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And remember, this is on the top surface. You need to get this for the bottom surface as well. Okay, and then you carry on with the different angle of attack until you get to the angle of attack of 30 degrees. Okay, is everybody clear about this? Okay, that's good. That's good. If you have any question, feel free to ask. Okay, now the next thing you do is you change the velocity to 20 meter per second. Okay, and then you repeat again. Take for 0 angle of attack and then rotate the aerofoil 5 degree of angle of attack, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that is basically a lot of data, isn't it? Okay, and imagine that this should be done by you. Okay, but now the technician have to do it for you. And to do this, we don't want to give you the same sets of data because then it will be too similar and then it's difficult and then you will be tempted to copy each other because it is too similar. So we will be providing you with 6 sets of data. Okay, there will be 6 sets of data that we will provide to you, and each group will be assigned to each set of data. We will tell you about that. Okay, however, there might be a slight delay on getting those data. I believe now we have 1 or 2 sets only, and the experiment is still running, so you can get the data. So for this, I would like to ask you to be a little bit patient, and you can write your introduction first because it's going to take a lot of effort to write the introduction. And use this time wisely. Don't waste the time. And we will try to provide you with the data by the end of this week. Okay, by the end of this week. Is that okay? Is that okay? Can you give me a thumbs up if that's okay? Okay, that's good. Please don't feel sad because you cannot have the data today. Okay, so carry on. when you have this pressure on top and on the bottom of the aerofoil, and I told you before that the pressure cannot be used to plot in the graph. Okay, the usual way to plot the graph is by using CP, that is the pressure coefficient. And so I think if you Google pressure coefficient, then you find out what is the formula. Okay, and when you plot CP, okay, it's going to look something like this. This is CP, and this is your point, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5 until point 8. Okay, and you will see a curve that looks something like this. Okay, so this is your point. That is your CP that you've obtained from the data. And let's say that this is for the top surface. Okay, and you will also have another line. Maybe it looks something like this. I'm not sure, I'm just guessing here. Okay, so this is the bottom surface. So this is the graph that I expect to see from all of you. However, if you imagine, we have a lot of angle of attack, right? And this graph is for one angle of attack. Okay, so when you have different angle of attack, you have to plot different graph. Okay, so here, basically for 15 meter per second, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 graph of CP versus your point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you have 20 meter per second data. And then so that is 7 times 2, that is 14 graph. 14 graph. And the challenge now is to look at those graphs and look at the trend of what is happening when the angle of attack is increasing. Okay, see the difference in the pressure profile of that aerofoil when the angle of attack is increasing. And maybe when you look at it for the first time, you have no idea what it looks like. You have no idea what it means. That is why I need you to look online on the existing coefficient of pressure that people have looked for. You can even find the coefficient of pressure for exactly NACA 0015. Okay, because different profile will give you different curve. Okay, but use this as your reference. Okay, use this as your reference. So if your data is close to the data that other people have found, then you can be confident that your data is correct. Okay, otherwise you have to justify why your data is different than others. Okay, and I believe that is all about results. Okay, this is the results, and I let you to plot the graph. So that is your result. And I told you before that the most marks will come from discussion. Right? So if you look at this figure, okay, let's say you are going to say that this graph goes up, okay, it goes up, and then it reached the maximum here, for example, and then it goes down, and then it goes to 0. Okay, that is not a discussion. That is an observation. A discussion is you telling me why this goes up in the first place. Why is this going up? Why is the maximum pressure here? Okay, what is happening? What is physically happening on that aerofoil? Okay, so you have a lot of time to do this, 4 weeks. Okay, and I think one session is 4 hours, so that is 16 hours, and that's even more time than you fast on the day. Okay, so that's a lot of time. So use it wisely and come up with a very good discussion. because discussion needs to be at least 10 pages, right? And it carries the most mark. And then write the conclusion and then the references. Okay, I believe that is all for the briefing. So if you have any question about the report or about what you have to do, please ask now.
Sir,
Yes.
like previously in our short report, we also put the sample calculation part. So for this report, do we need to put the sample calculation part?
Of course, you need to put sample calculation. Okay, in any report and in any report, whether it's solid or fluid, at least one sample calculation. Okay, so put it in the result section. Put it in the result section.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so calculation of you getting the pressure from manometer, and then calculation of the CP, the pressure coefficient. Any other question?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, for the procedure, our steps must be in active sentence or passive, sir?
Okay. Can I ask you again? What do you think the methodology should be written? How do you think methodology should be written?
Passive, sir?
Exactly. Okay. But I need you to write it in paragraph. Okay, write it in paragraph. So no more point 1, point 2, point 3. Okay, now this is a proper report. So write it in paragraph. Okay, any other question?
Sir,
Yes.
about the velocity, do we have two velocity or just one?
We will have two velocity.
So doesn't that mean we will have 7 times 4 paragraph? Paragraph, I mean graph.
Thought it's 7 times 2, isn't it? It's 7 times 2 or 7 times 4?
7 for top and bottom or just top only, sir, for example.
Okay, I think in one graph you can draw top and bottom in one graph.
Oh,
Okay, if you just draw top and then you draw bottom in another graph, then you will have too many graphs. Okay, that is why I ask you to look for some references online, and then you will know that they also plot top and bottom in one graph.
okay, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, okay, good. Any other question? Okay, let me check the due date for this lab, even though it's still far away, but let us confirm it here. Give me a second. So the lab will be from 19th of April, so that's today, to 17th of May. Can you guys check your calendar also? 17th of May. So it's 17th of May on Monday. Anybody checking? Let me check. Yes, exactly. 17th of May is Monday. Okay, and the due is 5 p.m. Okay, the due is 5 p.m. I would rather you not submit on this day I would rather you submit 1 or 2 weeks earlier. Okay, because I don't think it's going to take too much time for you to do it if you think together as a group. Okay, if you take this much time, then it's a possibility that you will delay until the very last minute. Okay, and then I don't want to see the report submitted at 5:01 p.m. And at any point during this lab, if you need to contact me, if there is something that you are confused about, feel free to reach me through Instagram. Instagram nak buat apa? Telegram. Okay, and also WhatsApp. Okay, I think some of you have my number, so use those two methods to contact me. And I prefer that you contact me as a group lah. Okay, you have a problem in a group, ask your leader to contact me. Otherwise, if I have same question from 2 people in the same group, then it's gonna take a lot of my time. Okay, any other question? Okay, if you don't have question, can you give me a thumbs up one more time? Why is someone sending me a sad emoji? Are you hungry? Okay, guys, so that is all for our afternoon session. I wish you all the best for the lab. Please wait for our experimental data. I'm going to send you a link now. Let me copy the link. So after this, please watch the video right away so that you know your methodology. 1 second. And don't forget to fill in the Google form in the chat box that is your attendance. Okay, I hope everybody can see the link. Make sure you watch this right after my briefing, okay? Okay, if there's, talk to you soon. All the best. Assalamualaikum.